toujours témoignages d'expériences concrètes et de solutions techniques qui ont été appliquées. Et pour cette table-là, nous allons recevoir M. Ralph Kliss, qui vient de Nouvelle-Zélande, Silhoussine Bengara des États-Unis, M. Hicham Laroussi de l'Université Polytechnique Mohamed VI, Mme Mariam Kharoubi de l'INRH et M. Aguilera Jiménez Cristobal, qui vient d'Espagne, s'ils veulent bien se joindre à nous sur le podium. Et je vais leur demander alors s'il y a peut-être des thèmes qui ont déjà été abordés par les intervenants précédents, s'ils pouvaient passer rapidement dessus et se concentrer sur des éléments nouveaux qui peuvent intéresser l'audience et notre audience également qui nous suit en streaming. Alors, 10 petites minutes, s'il vous plaît, 10 minutes d'intervention, 10 minutes, de façon à ce qu'on ne soit pas trop en retard, sinon on risque d'être là encore à 21h. Alors, j'invite M. Ralph Kliss, qui vient de Nouvelle-Zélande, application de l'intelligence artificielle pour l'aquaculture. Please.
Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I just want to say a big shout out to translators that translating real time. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about AI. I'm sure you've heard it so many times today, and I wanted to explain what it means and what challenges do we have to implement AI in aquaculture. Because what an amazing year for AI was last year, and it's going to be even more amazing this year. You have DeepSeek coming from China now. You have OpenAI or ChatGPT, Claude, multiple visual models. But the challenge is how to create the good solution with the industry that's been there for many, many years, and it has its own challenges. So let me tell you a story when we came to the industry, aquaculture, and tried to do AI. And this is a true story. We came to one of the biggest companies in New Zealand, and we asked them to give us the data in order to run machine learning and run some predictability. So they went back to the room, brought a stack of catalogs, and said, good luck. It's hard to do innovation if you don't collect the right data. So let's explain what the data means. If you have let's say that we have an assumption, and industry runs on an assumption. 3 or 4 years ago, we went to research from Ministry of Primary Industries in New Zealand. We went on a research around New Zealand, and we asked 14 different companies about the mortality in mussel farming. 14 different companies, 14 different answers. Not even close, 14 absolutely different answers. So what we realized is that the industry is built on assumptions. To give you a good example is, and I'm sure you have that in Morocco and every country you're coming from, we have a lot of inflation in food. But that's an assumption. In order to get to actionable insights, you need to know the data. And data would be how much is the fish today and how much was the fish exactly 12 months ago. From then, you can pull the information, and information would be that the inflation is 3.7%. So the data in general can be very useful if you combine it on a large scale. I'm sure you've heard about the big data in the past. So if you're a farmer, you don't necessarily need to know how much money your neighbor makes. But what if you knew an average mortality of the industry, and you can gather the insights whether you can do better or you're actually doing okay? So the key here is to collect the information in a way that you can actually compare it, not only to your neighbor, but what if you can compare it to a different industry as well? So when we came to the industry and we thought, what's the easiest way we can run a machine learning and AI? We thought the best way is to find out which family, coming from hatchery or even from a wild, performs best? Creating a simple family tree, which is where the species comes from, how is it moving, and what the result of that is, creates an actionable insights to find out what actions that you've done in the past can be good or bad for the growth. This tree is an example. The actual tree of a single season is about 10,000 points that you can analyze to every single harvest and find out which harvest produced the best result and what happened in the history of that harvest. So the reason why we created the MuscleLab platform was that stack of catalogs that was brought to us, and then we realized that every company has their own catalog and collects the data differently. So what we decided is create one single model where we can capture at the moment mussels, oysters, and seaweed and put it into one database that we can later on run a different prediction algorithms. And if you imagine, you can ask ChatGPT about your farm. So the assumptions that those farmers had can be run through a lot of information that comes to that one life cycle. It could be anything connected to the weather, salinity, dissolved oxygen, food in the water, or any information that has been collected through the life cycle. And any of that can be tracked down to that mortality we asked. So what if the 14 assumption, we draw back to 3, or 1, but per location. So we tell you the mortality in this particular area is because of specific issue. So to get to that, you need to be able to collect the big data in the different areas with the surrounding information. So while we started collecting the data, we also realized that farmers don't really want to do much more work, let's be honest. And the app itself that we built is super simple because 90% of farm workers, they're just busy, they often underpaid, and they really don't want to do more work. But if you spread the information across every person in a company, you realize that you're democratizing the data and you're finding out ideas that you never had before. But those data collected can go into much more complex insights or models. And this right here is connected data with the weather, temperature, wind, wave, collected together where you can see why there was a drop of sizing or mortality, find out. So coming from that, let's go to AI, right? Rocket science. What we can do at the moment is we can predict at the moment of seeding, the day of seeding, how much you're going to have to harvest. It looks like rocket science, but really it isn't. A lot of it is statistics, and feel free to take a photo. All it is capturing all of your seedings, all of your harvests, all of your sampling across the life cycle, and creating this curve of the size growth. Now, if you multiply it by months and apply previous mortality and all of the previous problems, multiplied by thousands of times in different farms, you can have quite accurate predictions. So based on that, what can we forecast? Harvest dates, pretty simple. We can do 52 weeks crop calendar. We can do best performing lines per cycle. So whether it's babies, adults, or intermediate, which area they perform best. We can predict optimal density. What's the best density? Which one is increasing mortality or decreasing the size growth? And which one is literally you're losing money? For mussels, we can also predict the floating and receding. The receding is a very interesting one. We can find the pattern, what journey from line to line receding was best performing, not only per farm, but if you moved it to another farm. And for oysters, we can create a pattern of the whole stock and harvest requirements. Now, I'm just going to give you a dream because the AI takes time. OpenAI, in order to track the model, took years. But what we can do is after 3 full seasons, we should be able to flatten the curve of harvest. One of the biggest problems for aquaculture is that there are moments of your season where you go up and down in a harvest cycle. But what if we can flatten it and you have a relatively flat harvest over the year? And that not necessarily means harvest for sale. Sometimes it might mean harvest to sell it to another location where the product can be finished. So what's the future of AI? Obviously, everyone would love to ask ChatGPT and say how much money I'm going to make next year, right? The future is here. The AI cost over the last 12 months halved. What last year cost thousands of dollars to train the model, right now you can buy for a few cents per run. The most important information is to start collecting the data in a very specific format and democratizing them across the company. The reason for that is we can invent AI to do anything, but we can't backtrack the information that you don't collect. So let me leave you with this, and I'm going to read it so I don't want to get it wrong. MRI. MRI wasn't invented by a medical person. It was invented by a physicist who was really interested in how the world works. Democratizing the data across your company, across everybody that you work with, allows you to create innovation within your group, within your people. Because the next step is to find out what the data means for you. AI can give you the actionable insights, but the decision comes down to you. Thank you very much.
Et merci pour le respect du temps imparti, 10 petites minutes, merci beaucoup. Prochain intervenant, Monsieur Houssine Bengara, Xylem, États-Unis. Il va nous parler des capteurs intelligents. Please.
Thank you. First of all, thank you. Thanking also Anda for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to present what solutions that we can give as Xylem and also what is the new technologies in this aquaculture event. Okay. My presentation is going to be divided by 4 parts. Okay, introduction and an overview of Xylem, and aquaculture overview and methods and measurements used in aquaculture, and example of some systems that we are providing as Xylem. But I saw that many speakers and panelists has already talked about some information. I will try to skip it also to get more time. Okay, Xylem is an American company that's the core of business is water. Okay, we are providing solutions for all the entire water cycle. And we are more than 23,000 collaborators and employees working for innovation for water and providing solutions for water sector. And we are existing in all continents in the world, or around the globe, with more than 400 office and manufacturing, and we have also an office here in Morocco. As I show you here, there is we have a solution for entire water cycle, including the part of ocean and coastal part, where we are giving also a solution for aquaculture. And this is the brands that we have under the umbrella of Xylem. We are more than 40 brands, and 10 of them are for analytics. This is what we do. But most important for us is we are measuring by manufacturing new sensors, technologies, smart sensors, okay, to monitor the water quality and water quantity. And my segment is in environmental. Then we are providing environmental solutions and with comprehensive monitoring solution and with expert advisors in the field. And this is the main brands that we are using in environmental segments. The main applications, as you can see, surface water, ocean, coastal, and aquaculture, in addition to monitor the harmful algae bloom and other applications. Now we are moving to the aquaculture solutions and how, but I will skip this first slide because we know that aquaculture is an old activity since the more than 4,000 years. Since 2022, according to FAO, now we are exceeding that the aquaculture is exceeding the captures of fish. And also the challenges, the main challenges is in aquaculture is the environmental impact by breaking the equilibrium and the balance between the biotopes in the environment. And also the alternative ways that using the waterways and fishing and the other activities. This is the common problems: the overfeeding, dependence on fish meal or feeding formulation, microplastics, environmental impact. This is the issues that we are facing in aquaculture. Okay, and this is the summary of what is the pollutants that we are facing that we have to monitor. We have organic waste, nutrients, pharmaceutical and chemical treatments, and heavy metals. And we know in this accumulation of these parameters can drive to have safety food issues and concern. Now, what is the parameters that we need to measure? I divided those, it is divided by, we have chemical parameters, physical parameters, and biological parameters. And this is just summarized, not all, but the most important one. And the most important that we, as an example, we are providing solutions. We provide solutions for monitoring temperature, dissolved oxygen, pH-ORP, chlorophyll, and others. We know that the measurements normally are made in two ways: the traditional ways with laboratory, then we have the new technologies and smart. And also I joined the previous panelist that we are trying to have a big data, and to have a good quality and big data, we need to have good instruments to measure, because without having these good instruments, the data will be just a crap, and we cannot work with those. Okay, the most important thing that we should take into consideration is that all species are not the same. They have different aquatic tolerance and need to be, and we should specify what is the, for each species, what is the tolerance and what is the limits. Then we have to take also the monitor frequencies, how and when we measure. Then what is the distribution, spatial distribution of the sensors that we are going to use, or sampling. Because as long we have more points of sampling or measuring, then we have good data, and we have a nice view. This is just the traditional methods. Normally we go to the sites, we grab some samples, as it can be water, soil, or from the bottom, or even the species of the animals or fish. Then we transport them to the lab, and during the transportation, we should be also care how we conserve the samples, because this transportation also, if not conserved, there will be problems on measuring or getting the right, accurate values of what we are measuring. Then from our laboratories, then we do all the process by anatomy or whatever to get the data or measuring the concentrations of pollutants. Then we have to redo it, which this drives us that, I will skip this, that the traditional way, there is some, we have some, let's say, limitation. We have also, first, we have time delay because we will have the results after we finish the measurements and the process, and we will need time, it's time consuming, and we need skilled persons. Then also the most important, this is just a spot, a snapshot for that point. We don't what's happened after or what's happened before. Here for the smart technologies, I want to step here and this is the word that we should retain before thinking about our solutions. The most important words that we should retain in our memories also is what is the smart sensors that we are going to use, what is the data login, how we are going to store this data, how it's going to be ranged in the read, what's even the data logger, how many inputs, outputs, what is the protocols. Then we would have to choose also the telemetry, which telemetry we're going to use. Are we going to use satellites, IoT, LoRa, GSM, 4G, whatever. Okay? Then we have another word, which is web hosting or on-premises. This is the software that saves the data in the database, okay? And how this data is saved, archived in that database. And this can be web hosted, which means in the clouds, and the provider service, or in your organization, in your server. Then from there, how the data can be visualized, okay, how we present this data. And there is an option that we can, by integrating AI, and then by modeling, then we can forecast what is the behavior of these parameters in the water. Now, what is the smart sensors or systems? I put it in between, like between brackets, but this is the sensors that allow us to monitor the physical or chemical parameters by measuring their interaction with lights or reagents, okay, but with the fast way and reliable way. And it can be in situ sensors or also systems that can also grab a water sample. And the system should be also automated for collecting the data, and also the remote monitoring system that we transmit the data, we have alarms and to be in the real time. And the requirement that we should respect when choosing our intelligent systems is the system needs to be first multi-parameter detection, that we have sensors that can measure multi-parameters, should be high accurate and sensitive with high response time, and transmitting the data and collecting the data. And we have data built-in data analysis capabilities with built-in algorithms and integrating AI and also telemetry. Here, those systems, normally we should, as output, we have to get the early warning systems, okay? If there is any parameters above the trigger or the threshold, that we drive also to optimize also the water quality management and to prevent diseases for these species. Here are some solutions that we are providing with Xylem. Actually, here you will find the combination between what we do with the spot monitoring and online cache monitoring. Okay, d'accord. Spot sampling with the multi-parameters, portable multi-parameters, or by putting, let's say, here, the laser, okay. And here we have the parameters that we can put in a string way, okay. Each layer, we can monitor oxygen, conductivity, temperature, or to have a multi-parameter sensor or sound that we can monitor multiple parameters. And I will take also the occasion to talk about what multi-parameter sound that we have. It's in the EXO. It's our flagship, okay? And it's a multi-parameter that we can monitor different parameters, and the data is stored inside and can be connected to telemetry system, and the high quality of materials that can, let's say, that it's the return of investments is very cost effective, okay, and it's very rugged. And the most important things, and what is the strange point, is the anti-fouling system. As you can see in the picture here, that the system, they clean the sensors before taking any measurements. That's to ensure that the data is very high accurate. And this is the parameters. And also the little sister of the EXO, we have the ProDSS, the same parameter, but this is for portable one, not for continuous monitoring. And also for land-based sites, Xylem is not only sensors, but also pumps and filtration, and we provide solutions for those. Here, a project that we did in Norway, in a fjord, and there is a combination. What we can see here, that we have different cages, okay? And in different cages, we have sensors. The specificity of this project that all the sensors here are connected wirelessly underwater, okay? And this is one of our new projects that we did with our partner. WeSense, it's an Italian company, okay? And those sensors are connected to nodes, acoustic modems, and these acoustic modems ensure the powering of the sensor, also the communication. And all sensors are connected wirelessly and send the data to the gateway, and from the gateway, we transmit data. The gateway is on a buoy on the surface. Then the data is transferred to the cloud system, software. Here, the example, we have the gateway, it's a buoy in yellow, and we have the nodes, and each nodes we have sensors connected, and connected wirelessly. That's also, if we have to monitor, if we have a large farm or different size, then we can monitor without have the hassle of the cables and to connect. Here the example. This is a creation with this system. We can create a network of sensors underwater. Also the localization and navigation underwater. We know accurately the positions of the points. The power consumption is very low, and all the data is routed to the cloud. Also, the other solutions is the buoy platforms. This depends the depth. We are utilizing these buoys. We have for shallow depths, we have this DB600, which is for 10 to 15 meters, and we can connect the multi-parameter or the current meters also, or both. And one of this, we have all-in-one in package, all-in-one, that we have data logger, telemetry, and cloud software also is included. And we have for deeper sites, we have the DB1750, which also measures directional waves in addition to the water quality parameters. And we can also have the current and profiling, and we know exactly what is the conditions for the profiling. And for another option for buoys and platforms, when we want to monitor the profiling of the water quality, we have this kind of buoys on pontoon, or it can be also fixed. And we have, as we can see, the sound can go down and up, and we have the monitoring the water temperature and all the other parameters that I mentioned before. And also we can include the meteorological sensors. This is the land-based stations. And also, this is before, let's say, choosing the sites, we can do deployment for surveying, site surveying. We know what is the conditions, what is the water quality on that site for aquaculture, and then we can take the decision if we go or not. All these data are transferred, can be transmitted to our software Hydrosphere. This is a cloud-based software, and there we can see, as you can see, we have color triggers, alarms, and it is user friendly for mobile. And we can customize any charts or parameters that we want to do. And we can also display this in websites, or the customer can get the data online. All this data transmit. All this data now get it to the operator. Now from there they can take the right decision, okay, by monitoring multiple sites at the same time. And as I mentioned also, this is some solutions that we can provide also for the site surveying. And this is the complete or some of our systems that we can offer. And thank you.
Est-ce qu'on peut... Voilà, on essaye de tester ce micro, c'est mieux, pour rester dans le cadre des caméras, n'est-ce pas? Okay. Alors, nous allons... Merci, cher monsieur. Et nous allons écouter à présent professeur Hicham Laroussi, Université Mohamed VI Polytechnique, qui va nous parler de biotechnologie des micro-algues. Merci. 10 minutes, je vais essayer.
Bonjour, donc, un grand merci à Linda pour cette invitation aujourd'hui pour partager avec vous notre vision pour voir une nouvelle thématique microalgues, donc en tant que nouvelle biotechnologie, la nouvelle bioéconomie au Maroc. Donc, les principes de la bioéconomie, c'est la valorisation, automatiquement la valorisation de tout ce qui est ressources biologiques, donc, et la transformation de ces ressources en produits de haute valeur ajoutée. Mais cette bioéconomie devrait respecter certains principes fondamentaux, like la circularité, la durabilité, la résilience. Et dernièrement, il y avait la tendance, c'est pourquoi aujourd'hui on est ici, donc on parle de tout ce qui est biotechnologie bleue. Donc à ce moment, on peut parler de tout ce qui est valorisation des bioressources aquatiques, marino-aquatiques, les deux, pour leur transformation et la production de haute valeur ajoutée dans les différentes applications. Donc, dernièrement, les microalgues ils sont révélés en tant qu'une des bioressources qui peut transformer notre vision pour voir les choses. Donc, ce sont des ressources avec beaucoup d'intérêt commercial. Donc, ils ont beaucoup d'avantages. Ils peuvent vraiment participer à la next generation of biotechnology and bioeconomy in Morocco and Africa. Ça fait des années qu'on parle de la révolution verte, mais maintenant on peut parler cette révolution verte, il peut être bleu, et les microalgues, il peut jouer un rôle très très important pour cette bioéconomie au Maroc. Donc les microalgues, comme vous avez dit, donc ils ont beaucoup d'avantages. Donc on a une grande biodiversité, et automatiquement lorsqu'on parle une grande biodiversité, automatiquement une diversité chimique et biochimique, ce qui ouvre le spectre de valorisation dans toute une panoplie des applications industrielles. Donc les microalgues, ils n'ont pas besoin de beaucoup de choses pour croître, ils ont besoin que l'eau, donc l'eau, CO2 et lumière pour produire d'une biomasse avec une productivité très élevée qui dépasse largement les plantes terrestres. Donc, cette évolution de cette biotechnologie est accompagnée avec une évolution remarquable de le développement de la technologie de culture. Donc, on a toute une panoplie de technologies très matures au niveau industriel et qui respectent les exigences à la fois la souche, le site de production, ainsi que les applications. Donc, dans ce qu'on dit, on a toute une panoplie de technologies à la fois des réacteurs et les systèmes open. Donc, si on parle marché, donc, à titre de comparatif, lorsqu'on parle des algues macro-micro, donc les macro-algues, ça fait des années qu'elles sont exploitées, avec un marché qui est estimé presque 8 milliards de dollars et avec une croissance de 8%. Mais si on parle micro-algues, qui est relativement très nouvelle par rapport aux séoïdes, donc c'est un marché qui peut atteindre dans 3 ans 4 milliards de dollars et avec une croissance qui dépasse les 11%. C'est un marché en pleine croissance, donc ce qui prouve l'intérêt de cette biotechnologie au niveau international. Donc si on parle potentiel de production de cette bioressource, heureusement que notre continent africain est parmi les régions les plus propices pour le développement industriel de ces ressources, avec un coût bas et avec une productivité très élevée. Et si on parle au Maroc, il a une opportunité d'être un hub pour le développement des biotechnologies des microalgues au Maroc et en Afrique, vu qu'on a des atouts très très importants du point de vue climat. Donc on a un climat presque idéal pour le développement industriel de ces ressources. On a 3500 km des côtes, donc ce qui fait la disponibilité de l'eau de mer à exploiter, et les terrains non arables. Sur le littoral marocain, on a plein de terrains, soit non arables, soit abandonnés, vu que le Maroc, comme vous savez, c'est un pays parmi les pays les plus touchés par le changement climatique, et on perd beaucoup de terrain via le climate change. Donc, nous, notre concept, c'est d'utiliser ces microalgues en tant qu'une culture alternative, au Maroc pour la récupération des terrains non arables ou des terrains abandonnés. Et vu le changement climatique, vous savez très bien que le Maroc perd annuellement plus de 28 000 hectares annuellement, c'est énorme. Donc, cette technologie, il peut contribuer à la récupération de ces terrains et au développement d'un nouveau secteur de biotechnologie ou de bioéconomie au Maroc. Donc, et notre vision, c'est déjà de valoriser de ces ressources dans différentes applications, dans une vision de contribuer à un équilibre économique au Maroc, vu que le Maroc il dépend à l'importation des produits dans plusieurs secteurs, dans l'agriculture, food, feed. Il y a énormément d'importation dans des inputs biologiques. Et les microalgues, c'est une opportunité pour le Maroc, pour le développement made in Morocco des différentes applications, différents produits pour différentes applications. Donc, l'importance de ces microalgues, on les trouve partout. On les trouve dans toutes les applications. Hein. Donc, la nutrition humaine, animale, l'agriculture, cosmétique, pharma, bioénergie, bioplastique, vraiment toute une diversité d'applications de ces ressources. Donc, je partage avec vous quelques cas d'études dans notre laboratoire et quelques success stories dans ce domaine. Donc, notre centre, c'est un centre de biotechnologie des algues qui travaille sur la culture et la valorisation de ces ressources en différentes applications, bien sûr, sur des axes qui sont des axes stratégiques pour le Maroc, comme l'agriculture, l'énergie et l'environnement, et tout ce qui est nutrition humaine et animale, et aussi tout ce qui est le développement de l'alimentation pour la pisciculture. Donc, notre centre, c'est un centre de recherche orienté marché. C'est pourquoi on est toujours à l'écoute du marché. Et pour l'agriculture, hein, vous savez très bien que les inputs biologiques dans l'agriculture, c'est un marché vraiment huge market. Donc, si on prend comme exemple les biostimulants qui vont atteindre plus de 5 milliards de dollars dans une année, les biofertilisants, actuellement, c'est à 3 milliards de dollars. Et les biopesticides sont estimés à plus de 7 milliards de dollars. Et ils vont passer dans 5 ans à 15 milliards de dollars. Donc, les microalgues, vraiment, il peut prendre une partie de ce grand marché pour le développement des inputs pour l'agriculture. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'on a développé tout un programme de développement des biostimulants à base des microalgues via plusieurs projets. Donc, ça fait depuis 2012. Hein, nous avons exploité notre banque de souches des microalgues. Nous avons une collection marocaine. Et après l'étude de différentes espèces, nous avons commencé à les valoriser dans différentes applications. Et notre objectif, c'est de développer, utiliser les bioactifs de ces microalgues pour développer des formulations biostimulantes pour un objectif d'amélioration de la croissance, le rendement et les stress, les biostimulants contre les stress biotiques et abiotiques, vu que notre pays, c'est un pays qui est vraiment touché par le changement climatique. Donc, je passe rapidement vu le temps. Donc, parmi les produits, on a des biostimulants contre le stress salin, on a des produits biostimulants contre les stress environnementaux et même biotiques. Aussi, on a développé même des produits innovants en combinant entre les fertilisants chimiques et les biostimulants pour produire un engrais biostimulant à la fois pour la stimulation des plantes et la fertilisation. Donc voilà, ce sont deux produits biostimulants qui ont été déjà validés dans tous les types de cultures. Et actuellement, on a créé une start-up qui s'appelle TKG pour la commercialisation et la production des biostimulants. Et maintenant, on a un pilote pour ce start-up avec une capacité de 50 tonnes. Donc, ça juste quelques images de validation agronomique dans plusieurs espèces qui ont donné des résultats très probants. Un autre secteur qui nous intéresse, tout ce qui est agro-food et feed. Donc, on développe, on travaille dans ce domaine pour le développement de l'alimentation pour les animaux, pour la pisciculture, et aussi tout ce qui est booster pour l'amélioration de la santé et la performance des animaux. Et si on fait un regard par rapport au marché de l'animal feed, c'est un marché qui dépasse les 482 milliards de dollars. Hein. Donc c'est un marché qui est très grand et en même temps, il est en pleine croissance, qui dépasse les 3% de croissance. Si on fait focus aussi sur tout ce qui est protéines, les microalgues, les scénarios maintenant via plusieurs études, il y a le scénario d'utiliser les microalgues en tant que source de protéines, avec un marché qui est estimé en 2022 à 11 milliards et qui peut atteindre en 2030 à 8 milliards de dollars avec une croissance de 8%. Donc voilà, ce sont des produits qu'on a développés chez nous. Donc on a développé Tekalga Equiboost, c'est un booster pour les chevaux de course et d'équitation. C'est un booster à base d'algues pour l'amélioration de la performance et la santé des animaux. Aussi, on a développé pas mal de formulations soit pour complément alimentaire pour la pisciculture, soit pour l'alimentation directe des piscicultures. Et aussi, donc, on travaille beaucoup sur le développement des procédés d'extraction, de purification des molécules à haute valeur ajoutée qui sont utilisées soit agro-food, soit cosmétique, soit pharma. Donc, pour l'aspect environnemental, donc, c'est un axe qui nous intéresse. Vous savez très bien que les microalgues sont des micro-organismes photosynthétiques. Elles assimilent beaucoup de CO2. Donc, pour produire tonnes de biomasse, nous devrons commencer 2,8 tonnes de CO2. Et aussi, les microalgues, ils peuvent assimiler et récupérer tout ce qui est polluants organiques et non organiques. C'est pourquoi on a pensé de développer des procédés intégrés. Donc, on introduit les effluents liquides et gazeux pour la culture de microalgues et la production de la biomasse de qualité qui peut être valorisée dans différentes applications. Si vous voyez les résultats, par exemple, les microalgues, les différents microalgues, ils ont assimilé la totalité des nutriments des eaux usées et au CO2 pour produire une biomasse de bonne qualité. Donc, et notre approche, c'est le développement de la biomasse en chaîne, donc à la fois le développement biostimulant, après extraction éco-individuelle des procédés enzymatiques, la production des fertilisants organiques et des produits pour la pisciculture. Donc, je finis avec cette slide juste pour quelques points pour promouvoir ce secteur au Maroc. Nous avons besoin de continuer à pousser les collaborations publiques-privées. C'est très important pour faire avancer le secteur au Maroc. Aussi, pousser les instituts de recherche à continuer de travailler dans cette thématique pour soulever plusieurs challenges techniques, technologiques, biologiques, pour vraiment améliorer la productivité et diminuer le coût de production de ces microalgues pour les rendre accessibles pour toutes les applications. Aussi, tout ce qui est formation, c'est important. Il faut vraiment développer le leadership en green biotechnology. C'est très, très important de développer cette mindset de green biotechnology au Maroc. Et à la fin, je finis encourager tout ce qui est politique environnementale pour supporter la R&D. C'est vraiment important. Supporter l'infrastructure et aussi tout ce qui est partenariat stratégique pour tout ce secteur pour vraiment promouvoir ce secteur et le pousser vers l'industrialisation. Et merci pour votre attention. J'espère que j'ai respecté le temps.
Je ne peux rien dire je devrais dire sur quelque chose en rapport avec le dépassement du temps, mais c'est intéressant ce que vous dites. C'est difficile de vous interrompre. Mais merci. Et je demande en avance à nos prochains intervenants d'essayer de restreindre leur intervention en 10 minutes. Notre prochaine intervenante, Mme Merim Kharoubi, qui représente l'INRH, qui va nous parler de son expérience du recyclage de certains produits de l'industrie et comment ils ont été réutilisés.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis ravie aujourd'hui de vous présenter un peu les avancées technologiques sur la valorisation des coquilles des bivalves dans le même prolongement que ce qu'a présenté mon ami Hichem, c'est-à-dire dans la bioéconomie, la circularité, les bioressources, la naturalité. C'est dans cette philosophie de circularité que nous allons faire aujourd'hui le zoom sur ce que peut apporter des bioressources et des gisements qui étaient enfuis dans le sable et qui sont vraiment devenus une valeur sûre, tangible et avec un impact économique important. Donc, si vous permettez, je vais vous parler un peu de l'aventure de l'évolution des coquilles des bivalves à l'hydroxyapatite de calcium. Au centre de valorisation des produits de la mer, relevant de l'Institut national de recherche halieutique, nous nous attachons c'est-à-dire à valoriser les coproduits qui, pour nous, sont des gisements d'une importance capitale parce qu'ils peuvent rivaliser avec le produit lui-même, sinon le dépasser. L'approche méthodologique transversale du upcycling de coquilles est la suivante, parce qu'il faut faire le distinguo entre upcycling et recyclage. Donc, c'est une notion très importante parce que le upcycling, on upgrade vers le haut et c'est vers des bio-ingrédients ou bien des composés de haute gamme, ce qui est différent du recyclage. Donc, cette notion est très importante à cadrer. Donc, tout d'abord, il faut évaluer les biomasses qu'on veut valoriser. Donc, quand en amont de la valorisation, il faut se poser pas mal de questions. Et la première question, c'est est-ce que ces biomasses, est-ce qu'elles sont leur tonnage est assez considérable pour qu'on puisse passer à une exploitation industrielle. Donc, ça, c'est la première step, c'est ça. Donc, l'évaluation des biomasses, des coquilles. La deuxième étape, c'est le développement du soft procédé, bien sûr en adéquation totale avec les attentes du marché. Dans un troisième temps, après avoir bien sûr développé le soft procédé, il faut passer à la caractérisation du bio-ingrédient extrait ou bien bioproduit. Et là, on parle de toutes les études de technofonctionnalité, c'est-à-dire, je vais vous en parler par la suite. Une fois qu'on a balisé le terrain de la technofonctionnalité, on passe à l'étude de la biofonctionnalité. Et comme vous l'avez remarqué, c'est-à-dire j'ai fait une division entre toutes ces étapes qui vont un peu faire la preuve du concept et nous conduire vers, on va dire, le TRL 3, qui est le TRL à l'échelle laboratoire. Et les autres étapes qui viennent, ce sont des étapes qui vont nous rapprocher de l'industrialisation, parce qu'il faut passer par des études pilotes et puis après, on passe à l'industrialisation, mais avec les études pilotes, il y a tout un chemin à franchir avec les études environnementales, les études de marché, la modélisation du procédé, pour augmenter la maturité technologique du procédé de telle manière à ce qu'il se rapproche un peu de l'environnement industriel avant de passer à l'industrialisation. Donc, comme vous pouvez le remarquer, c'est vraiment un chemin de combattant pour pouvoir passer l'innovation du laboratoire au marché. Et Et puis après, c'est le transfert technologique. Le transfert technologique, il peut se faire soit par la création d'une start-up ou bien par l'exploitation d'une licence ou bien tout simplement par un savoir-faire qui est transféré vers l'industrie. Donc, oui, tout à fait. Donc, slide suivant, s'il vous plaît. Ah d'accord. Pardon. Donc, comme je disais tout à l'heure, donc l'évaluation des biomasses des coquilles, les questions importantes qu'il faut se poser, c'est il est de combien le volume du gisement, quelle espèce on vise, est-ce que c'est la coquille de moule, est-ce que c'est la coquille de l'huître, la composition, et ça c'est très important, il faut passer par une caractérisation complète de la coquille. Par exemple, la coquille de moule a une composition de 83,85% de calcium. Puis la question qui se pose, c'est vers quel marché on veut partir. Est-ce que c'est vers l'agriculture verte, comme Hicham l'a expliqué tout à l'heure? Est-ce que c'est des biostimulants, des biofertilisants? Est-ce qu'on veut partir vers le feed? Quel genre d'animaux on vise? Est-ce que c'est des poules, c'est des porcs, c'est quoi au juste l'animal qu'on vise? Et puis, ou bien, est-ce que c'est le pharmaceutique? Est-ce que c'est la santé osseuse? Ou bien le biomédical vers les implants biocéramiques. Donc, et comme vous pouvez le remarquer, la pyramide de valorisation, elle augmente et le ticket d'entrée, il est beaucoup plus cher quand on va de l'agriculture vers le biomédical. Et puis vient la question du développement du soft procédé en adéquation avec le marché. Est-ce que notre procédé doit être éco-compatible, viable économiquement, duplicable à l'échelle pilote et bien sûr duplicable à l'échelle industrielle? Et vient par la suite la technofonctionnalité et la biofonctionnalité. Est-ce que notre ingrédient qu'on a extrait, c'est quoi son comportement, c'est quoi sa solubilité, c'est quoi sa capacité de rétention de l'eau, sa capacité de rétention des lipides? Parce qu'une fois qu'on veut faire passer à des formulations, il faut baliser toutes ces questions. Et puis, bien sûr, ce qui est le plus important, c'est la biofonctionnalité. Est-ce qu'il a une action antioxydante, antimicrobienne, antivirale, anti-vieillissement, et j'en passe. Donc, nous, dans nos laboratoires, nous avons pu produire de l'hydroxyapatite de calcium et avec plusieurs gammes. Et là, c'est des microsphères d'hydroxyapatite de calcium. Nous avons étudié la structure avec les rayons X et l'étude de pureté avec le microscope électronique à balayage. Donc, ce sont les principaux études qu'on a faites, mais il y en a toute une panoplie. Et si là, je fais juste un petit focus sur les applications de l'hydroxyapatite en cosmétique et surtout les microfibrilles d'hydroxyapatite. Donc, tout d'abord, c'est un céramique qui est très, très biocompatible et c'est un stimulateur de collagène. Donc, l'hydroxyapatite stimule la peau pour produire son propre collagène naturel. Et après, au fil du temps, le gel est absorbé et le corps, il métabolise les microsphères d'hydroxyapatite du calcium, laissant le collagène naturel de la peau. Ça, c'est juste une petite application, mais il y en a plusieurs. Là, j'ai résumé un peu les applications de l'hydroxyapatite. On peut c'est-à-dire l'avoir dans la séparation et la purification, la catalyse et l'environnement, le traitement de surface, parce que surtout par exemple pour les implants médicaux, il peut également être appliqué en stockage de l'énergie. Donc, comme vous voyez, Les applications sont très versatiles et chaque application dépend de la pureté et dépend des fonctionnalités de l'ingrédient que nous avons extrait en premier temps. Voilà donc le message qu'il faut c'est-à-dire avoir en tête: ne jetez plus ce que vous devez acheter demain. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, les coquilles de moule, ils sont à 0 dirham, mais qui sait, peut-être demain, ils seront vendus beaucoup plus cher que la moule elle-même. Voilà, je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Merci beaucoup, docteur Haroubi. Et est-ce qu'on peut visiter votre laboratoire? Comment est-ce qu'on peut avoir plus de renseignements sur les produits que vous avez réussi à créer? L'INRH, sur le stand de l'INRH. Merci. Merci beaucoup, merci. Alors, nous allons avoir le plaisir d'écouter à présent M. Aguilera Jiménez Cristobal, qui nous vient d'Espagne. C'est l'Institut de recherche, j'imagine, agronomique espagnol, l'aquaculture multitrophique intégrée.
Okay. Bonjour. This morning, Dr. Marouf has introduced us a very interesting concept, which is that the main target that we have in this conference, which is tomorrow aquaculture. But curiously, aquaponics take a look at the past to help us to understand which are really the actual situation that we have in the present, and also help us to approach the future, the solution for the future. Aquaponics is not a new concept, it's not a new issue. 4,000 years ago, Chinese farmers know that introducing some carbs in the field of rice, they increase a lot the production of rice. Later on, a few hundred years, we found also that Mexican people in Lago Texcoco use the chinampas. Chinampas is a system also in middle in the lake in which they introduce some fishes. The faces of the fishes also help for produce vegetables. And also we found some evidence with the lots coming from in the river in Egypt. I forgot the name. Nilus River, and I use these lots also for increasing the productions. So the idea that we have is to use this knowledge to apply a very, very simple, easy, and cheap system of aquaponics. We are developing a system, a couplet. A couplet is a system in which we are continually using the same water because we are interrelated using RAS technology, recirculation aquaculture technology, plus hydroponics. But the water is continuously in the same loop. The idea that we have is utilize 100% recycled materials that we have in our plants, in our lab. Using this material to be easy, the concept of the applications. Okay, we use tanks that we have in the system. We have also a biological filter building by material coming from losses of the pipes that we use normally for the electricity cutting. No, not so much. Also, we have a sedimentation tank building by a bucket. And also we use some a tank hydroponic unit with in total we use this 7 square meters more or less with a pound at the end, and we recycle the water. But the most important is that the total cost of the 3 systems is about 1,000 euros. Is the amount that we invest in this prototype. We try this species, gray mullet. Why we use gray mullet? We use gray mullet because they have many specific characteristics. First one is euro-alien fish. Euro-alien fish is that they can live in fresh water, and marine water, and in brackish water. We don't have fresh water in our area, in our region. It's water coming from the upwelling in contact with the sea is high salinization. So we need to adapt the specific production that we have had. Also, gray mullet is herbivorous. It's possible to feed for many different diets and also providing diets coming from byproducts from the agriculture and also transforming diets coming from the insects, microalgae, or whatever. And it's a very valuable fish. And they produce also valuable products like botarga. And also we use another plant, which is salicornia. We use salicornia, glass growth. Why? Because it's a lophy plant. This plant lives perfectly in salt systems. They use salt water for growth. They have an important effect in the ecosystem. They provide a solution for the salinization of the lands. At the same time, they have cultured, well appreciated by the consumer, by the people, because they have very nutrients. It's easy to produce and easy to maintain, and is fantastic for that. So the idea that we have at the beginning is it is possible to compare different kind of systems existing actually, like aquaponic in front to a traditional RAS. So we decide to build in this one more or less the same space, the same capacity to know which are the specific characteristics of each one. So to do that, we use gray mullet. Gray mullet, we start with fingerlings that we collect for the sea, directly from the sea, wild fingerlings, because in this moment we don't have enough technology for producing. We are now in a project trying to reproduce again. Brostock coming from this juice. It's about 50 grams. We introduce about 100 fish per tank in about 2.6 kilos. And also we collect glasswort for the wild also. It's just in the moment in the glasswort start growing. It's a plantula, it's about 1.5, 1.2 grams. Actually, we are close the cycle. We are recollecting seeds for the salicornia. This seeds is stocked, and we are using the seeds for initiated the new batches because it's a protected plant and we can collect directly. So the initial weight is about 1.5, 100, and we plan no more than 100 grams per each one of the system. Temperature was ambient, it's about 24 degrees, and we produce this one in 3 replicates because you know the research like to have so many replicates to be sure that of the results are comparable one to the other. And we use exactly the same approach for the closed system in RAS and recirculation. More or less the same fishes, and the amount of density, initial density, but temperature was constant, 25 degrees, because we can control the temperature in the water using a changer of whatever. Well, the idea is to know if they grow well or not, which are the condition factors of the fish, if the fish are not okay, which is the eperasomatic index, for example, if we are generating good quality of meat in the fish in order to some other, like perivisceral capacity of whatever, which is the growth, and also taking account that we are using different kind of temperatures. One is ambient, another one is constant. So thermal growth ratio is quite important to compare both experience, and also take care about the FCA and production, etc. And we applied also the OWIS, operational welfare indicators, is to be sure if the system are or not producing fish in good condition, in good quality. So this is at the beginning. We use this kind of system. We plant the seed. The seed is about 1 gram, 2 centimeters, about that. And we follow, of course, during all the process, the elemental parameters like pH, oxygen, temperature, the amount of nitrates, ammonia. Why? Because this is essential for growing the plant. The plants need this these nitrates and nitrites for growing, and other elemental elements that exist in the phases coming from the fish. So, final density after 3 months is in every one of these, we multiply per 2 the final biomass of the gray mullet. It's important to know that we are using the gray mullet in this moment as a producer of nutrient for the plants. We are not following, do have the idea to produce so much protein, but it is possible to do, increasing or multiply per 2, per 3, or per 4 the initial biomass, but you need more available space for produce plant, because if not, you are producing so much nutrients and the system can use it. And okay, we know that the distribution of the fish in the system is quite homogeneous, so no external incidents occur. Following the operational welfare indicators, we know that all the fishes produced in this system have a wonderful condition. We don't have any specific injuries. Only we found some fish with operculum on skin lesion or loss on the scales as a consequence of the harvesting. So it is due to the process of harvesting, it's not to the process of coloration. And also no other incidents we found during the process. This is the glassware at the end of the season. After 120 days, we recollect this amount of glassware, and this is quite interesting because we multiply more than 300 times the biomass coming from the original one. If you remember, each plant is 1.5 grams, and later on we found plants between 100 grams up to 3 kilos. Okay, we learned a lot of this experience. We learned that it's necessary to aeration the water with a good quality to distribute homogeneous the nutrient. It's necessary to take care the amount of water that we're introducing. And also it's important the position of the seeds in order to the sun, and also how to enter the water with nutrients. So you can improve a lot. But the most important is this one. If you remember at the beginning, we say that the total cost for this prototype were 100 euros. In the first harvest, only with the salicornia, after 3 months, at the market price, we obtained circa 140 euros. So we pay the inversion in 3 months. This is amazing. This is a good inversion. But not only is a good inversion, it's a good system to produce protein and for so many people that they have enough resources. And more important that we say this morning, people that, for example, living in places without water, or scarcity of water, or low quality of water, or they have lands which is not possible to culture, agriculture. So this is a potential alternative. 300 kilos plus 1,600 kilos of fish, if you use the data coming from the FAO, is the amount of feed in vegetable and protein coming from the fish that a family of 3 people needs for 1 year. Of course, they need more things, but it's curiously. Okay, this is a nice approach how this small system can provide solution for a single family. We found also some problems related because the water that we have is not the perfect quality, and we found that some losses of iron. So we need to introduce like a normal foliar application by displaying ecological approaches without any problem. It's 1% in the water, nothing, and we recovered in 3 days the quality of the glassware, the color, the quality, the growth without any problem. This is a time lapse of the, yeah, it's possible to, okay. It's 120 days in 35 seconds. You can follow the growth of the salicornia. The movement is consequence of the sun, because the sun is from the east to the west, and we are located just in the middle. Ambient temperature arrived till 32 degrees, so it's hot. But we can produce glassware in a very few months of the year, no, maximum 3 months, no? So we decided to implement a contingency plans. It is possible to apply this using gray mullet, because if you remember, it's euroalin fish, so we can translate from marine during the season of April to November using high temperature in salt water, from November to March using fresh water. And in order to use salicornia, glassware, the idea is to plant lettuce, for example. And, I'm sorry. No? Okay, it's also the time lapse of the lettuce growing during this period, up to 36 degrees, with salt that they have 2 to 3 pp,000. It's not totally fresh water, it's semi-saline water. "100% survival" is amazing. The fish that we are producing is exactly the same. We increase more than double. And, okay, quality of the products after doing the tests of whatever it is. All the people say that it's really delicious, crispy, salty, fresh, and you can maintain alive at home in your freezer for 2 weeks without any problem because it's alive. It's quite interesting. So, to be sure that all the data we have is already, we establish a comparison using biological, sustainability, and economic approach. I don't have so many time to go inside, but the most important say that using the aquaponics system in a 6 months, we can solve more than 8 times the electricity, the cost, electrical cost of a conventional recirculation system. But if you use all the cycle during all the year, because the capacity of the recirculation system is higher, because they can produce more fishes than the aquaponics system, is reduced up 4 times, but you do have extra production. The extra production is the possibility to have fresh vegetable during all the season. We have so proud, and it's honored by us because 1.5 years ago, we have this award for GFCA and FAO. I think that this award is a consequence of introduce a concept that for us is quite interesting. It's the definition of the frugal innovation. This morning we are following people increasing amazing kind of innovation, which is possible to do things, the idea, the concept, but frugal innovation is how to apply the knowledge to do small things, easy, cheap, and provide easy solution for the people who need that. This is quite important. But also, of course, this is not the end. We are doing more things, no? And why not include the seaweed production? Because the water that we are using after pass to the plants, to the grassware, the salicornia, also have a lot of nutrients. So we are install an adapter, a tank in which we are producing microalgae, and the water pass through the microalgae, return again to the fish of tank. So this is multi-trophic approach. We are approaching all this one. And also, of course, we have actually in a project, because we use all the technology that the people are describing here. Proofs, IA, connections, multifunction, and obtaining data, a lot of data. Because it's important to obtain data, because the idea that we have in mind now with this project is the Concat Living Lab, is how to provide solutions in a very complex situation due to the effect of the climate change in regions in which they don't have enough water, enough land, or whatever. How we can help in? So the idea is provide a recipe for each species and each vegetable according to the specific characteristic of the ambient on the water. You can introduce this recipe into your computer or your smartphone, for example, and you have the data, the available data, to follow the production. And you can follow daily which is the production of your plants, of your fishes. And this is a support for you. The idea is not to take out the people in charge. The idea is to help the people to take solution and to apply the correct recipe to be sure that they can produce whatever during all the year. Thank you so much. On time.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Cristobal, et je tiens à remercier Madame Myriam Kharoubi, Monsieur Hicham Laroussi, Monsieur Hussein Bengara et Monsieur Ralph Kliss. Et je vais les inviter pour une photo, si on a nos photographes qui sont disponibles, et je vous demande de les applaudir. Et merci encore pour votre présence à tous.